Oh, folks, Schmielan's having a hard time. Poor guy. For a genius, he's a bit slow, isn't he? Yeah. It seems the brains behind the bromance are finally doing some math and coming up sad. The bottom line numbers aren't following the world takeover plan. Schmielan put a lot of dough into the Wisconsin Supreme Court justice race, and voters kind of sent him to Kristi Noem's gravel pit. Womp womp. Turns out money can't buy you the Wisconsin Supreme Court. That's a double whammy for Schmielan. Well, Schmielan recently had a heart-to-heart with Waxman Bret Baier on Fox News. I mean, Fox sexed up rarely true sound bites. Schmielan opened up about how hard it is to be misunderstood, and Waxman nearly melted. Schmielan said, "It's actually disadvantageous for me to be in the government, not advantageous. My companies are suffering because I'm in the government." Now, I don't know. I think at this point, if God was doing his job, just a little bolt of lightning would have been appropriate. A little teeny jolt to dislodge Schmielan's head from his ass. Short of that, I think Waxman could have reminded Schmielan that many people would argue their loved ones are suffering because his ass is in the government. But no, Waxman let Schmielan continue with his sad, sad story. And we got to see the anguish, the confusion, the internal battle he was experiencing over not wanting to look like a wussy boy, but also really wanting to take his ball and go home. Poor Schmielan. Most of us realize you can't buy an election by incredibly shady means, including riddling your own personal social media platform with lies and cruelty and racism and bigotry and bullshit. You can't molest the system, surround yourself with baby boy tech bros, lie about what you're doing with all of our data, intimidate, torment, and ruin government workers' lives. You can't break laws, mock people whose futures you're exploding, call people who accept things like Social Security and veterans benefits the parasite class. You can't stiff-arm salute in front of the world and look like you're sky high out of your mind all the time. You can't publicly treat your baby mamas and children like trash. You can't be a monster and still want people to buy your products. Waxman asked Schmielan what keeps him up at night. Schmielan said the birth rate is very low in almost every country, and unless that changes, civilization will disappear. Right. Again, for a genius, he's peculiarly slow. I mean, Schmielan kind of forgot which side he's on. I'm not sure being as inhumane as possible signals a concern for humanity. I think appointing Schneidel RFK as the Secretary of Health and Human Services is more like an FU to humanity than a sign of concern. Pandemic, anyone? And come on, long-term the human race is probably going to need air and water and land that's livable, so lighting a match to the world seems antithetical to keeping civilization alive. Also, I think the dastardly powers that be probably know miserable people who don't think they can afford babies don't have babies. Pretty basic stuff. People who hate their government leave. No babies left behind. Yeah. Where's the long-term thinking in any of this, huh, Schmielan? Is this the K to the edit to the mean talking? Because I'm pretty sure sober Schmielan knows the campaign to tank his companies isn't a George Soros-funded scheme. It's a very appropriate response to a schmuckwad torching our system. Schmielan also spoke at a town hall in Wisconsin ahead of the Supreme Court election. He lied and waffled and dodged and weaved and acted like the insufferable Schmielan we all wish would go up in a rocket and never come back. More importantly, he handed out $2 million, which really tells you all you need to know. Schmielan is nothing but a puffy black t-shirt without his dough. Merit-based popularity is a mirage when it comes to Schmielan. He'd never have a single friend if it wasn't for his piles of dough. Unfortunately for Schmielan, it turns out pockets lined with corrupt cash can also be emptied. And once the world sees the Tesla logo as a depiction of thong underwear for a fat ass like Orangina's, they can't unsee it. Yeah. Well, Schmielan, have the day you deserve. Yeah.